Hi, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Need to walk the path of justice and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, mercy, and grace watch over us and lead us in the reign of God. Ashe. Okay, so as you can see here, y'all, we're going to have a few different piles to let us know what this general collective reading is all about, okay? So I appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscribes. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your energetic compliance and your energetic support, okay? And your physical support if you're doing that for me. Okay, so let's see what we have here for our general reading. Someone is out without a paddle, but they're receiving some kind of training, right? To assist them in whatever endeavor that they're a part of. And we're going to figure out what this endeavor is. Okay, so we see already we have some training out without a paddle. Oh, a jury of your peers and something being untrustworthy. These two cards fell out in I think the Gemini reading. Something about a panda with the Bible verse. Okay, which I believe the panda also fell out in the Taurus reading. Okay, so I'll add the Gemini reading and the Taurus reading to this reading. Okay, and you'll get a little bit more about what the panda kind of like suggested in that reading, because right behind the panda was no love, right? And it went into a whole story about sadness and depression. But here we're getting a lot more red vibes, as you can tell by how the card just zoomed past, right? We're getting a lot of red vibes. That's aggression, that's power, that's gusto. That's what we're getting. But it's behind the premise of a panda, which would be calm, something that's docile. What you see is what you get, okay? So why does that philosophy, apply to this general collective reading attached to Bible verse and body aches? Well, generally, when you are under a spiritual attack or you are undergoing a spiritual ascension, you tend to have body aches, okay? Now, if you are undergoing a spiritual attack, it means that negative, demonic, dark energies are feeding off of you in some way. That can show up as soreness, aches, as we already said, bruises, minor scrapes, subtle burns or discoloration. And even like as mosquito bites and bug bites generally, okay? Spider bites especially, if we're speaking about, general aches that the body can have due to a spiritual attack in the negative, okay? So why is that so important? Well, here we're speaking on Bible verses, right? Now, what does the Bible represent? Well, it represents life. Okay, if you look at all the stories of the Bible, it's the beginning to end of life. You literally see the beginning, the creation in the book of Genesis, all the way to the end. You actually can read the last, I think, 3 books of the Bible kind of hint toward the apocalypse and what you can kind of see to measure out whether or not the apocalypse is, I guess, in your time of living, right? So if we're talking about something having the appearance of being good, right, like a panda, but is a cover-up for something that's a lot more aggressive, a lot more agitating, something that is, I would say, powerful, but powerful with a lot of strength, right? My mom used to call it like gorilla strength, like having that like gorilla strength. So with the jury of your peers, things being untrustworthy, you're out without a paddle but receiving training. Realize that the training, your endeavors out in the world right now, is a spiritual quest. It is the divine, your guides, ancestors, archangels, other angels, kind of putting different hurdles in your path to see if you're able to, make it past. But the issue is what you're not seeing, right? So maybe you are attached to a religion, you have been attached to a religion, maybe there's a Bible verse that is circulating you right now that you hear very often, or that just pops up in your mind. But it is telling you that you have to reinvent and realign your values to better associate with the people around you, if that makes sense. Why? Because generally you are around a whole bunch of people, right? And these can be seen as your peers. Even if you don't have a friendly working relationship with them, they can still be seen as your peers, because energetically you wouldn't be in the same environment unless there was alignment. Okay? So if there's a jury of your peers and they are seemingly untrustworthy, you can't, trust what they say, trust what they do. You honestly are moved to not trust them. I think it's a push for you to figure out what internally is untrustworthy, what internally is not aligning with your day-to-day, with your thought processes, with even the people around you, and then realign yourself. That means move yourself out of that environment and put yourself in a better environment, okay? So that the jury of your peers can be a more trustworthy group instead of an untrustworthy group, okay? Because if you're surrounded by untrustworthy people, there has to be something within you that may give off an untrustworthy vibe, okay? Or you're not seeing that maybe your peers are trustworthy. You have the standpoint that because you do untrustworthy things, that the people around you must do those things also. And it's your lesson then to see that people may reflect you or may mirror you, if that makes sense, right? So when you're looking in a mirror, it's opposite. When you're looking at a reflection, you see exactly what it's meant to be seen. It's what is it? It's called like your true self, your true reflection. And there's certain mirrors that you can put together, to get your true reflection. But I'm gauging here that you are going through some kind of spiritual level up, or there are people in your environment, people that associate themselves with you in some way, even if it's negative, that are attacking your character, attacking your personality, attacking maybe your hobbies or your interests, thinking like maybe that they're better, that what they do is more awesome, or I guess more important, when in actuality it may be specific to their own path, and maybe their path is on the level ascension number 2 and your path is level ascension 200. So of course someone at level number 2 is going to feel accomplished at doing whatever they think is important, because they can't see the value in the higher levels, the higher echelons. Okay, so you're being called to see who's around you that may be that 2%, that opinions and energy or even presence is unnecessary, right? You have to figure out how to no longer align with those energies, okay? And that again could be as simple as letting the universe know that I do not align with the energies that are for some reason sucking up my space, right? Now, I know I had to say that yesterday specifically, so that's why I know I can see how this is attached to me, but not in the same way that I see that it's attached to this general reading. Okay, so let's dive further into what this general reading wants us to know. Something that happened in January. Okay, so what does January normally symbolize? Is the beginning of the calendar, not the astrological year, but the calendar, right? It's the transition from quote unquote old to new, right? Because we have New Year's resolutions and all this other stuff. But it's basically moving from one paradigm, a year, the year in numerology, to another paradigm, the year in numerology. So, for example, last year we were in the year of 222, right? 2022. If you add all of those together, the numerology is 6. Whereas this year, we're in the 223, and the numerology, if you add them all up, equals 7. Okay? Now, you can go to Google. I would prefer you go to any search engine and, use personal discernment, because whatever information you find is integral to your specific path. I'm just here to throw some stones to let you know the direction. But you can see that with the number 6, it's basically about material endeavors, the 3D matrix, love, what is necessary for human survival. Now you go into the 7, and it's more of the etheric survival. Okay, so it's more about your soul, where your spirit is, where your religious life was compared to where it's heading, and what transition, because this year is all about transition, just like last year, but the transition is spiritual, whereas the transition last year was more physical. Last year was all about letting go of physical things, whether those are people, items, resources, or, just pre-established ways of living. And then now we have the 7, where it's reestablishing new ways of living, but based on soul growth. Okay? So in order for you to establish new, you have to figure out what this soul growth is. And so that's what 2023 is all about, understanding where your soul growth is leading you, rather. Okay? So maybe in January, when you had your New Year's resolutions, or in January month when, something really major happened, you felt like there was a group of people around you that you could call on, or you could ask to assist you. But you were shown, because you can no longer play possum, right? Like, in a sense, no longer play dead, right? Act like things don't bother you. Act like a version of yourself that is no longer in alignment, right? So you're no longer putting on a mask. You're more so showing your dexterity. You're showing your skill set. You're showing your ability to be the forefront or be the face, okay? Like the lions are the lead of the pride, right? They're the head of the pride. So in any scenario, this energy requires their personal skill set and their ability to lead with their personal skill set, okay? So this 100 acres and a mule that they owe you, maybe they did some kind of a physical tomfoolery in the living room, a main living room, and there's a lot of love loss. So these 2 that seem like lovebirds are no longer lovebirds, okay? And because of that, it took away the idea that they are good people, the idea that they are more chosen, they're closer to God, or they're closer to being a role model, being someone to look up to. And because of this, maybe the police were involved. Okay, maybe this scenario got a little bit out of hand and caused maybe one or multiple parties to be violent, right? If that's verbally aggressive, if that's physically aggressive, whatever the case is, it required the police to be there. And someone said, some self-defense was necessary, and it's most likely from the person that the cops deem as the innocent energy here, the more royal energy. And the reason why the cops even see them as this energy is because the divine has attached themselves, because the divine, androgynous, we're not going to get into that, but the divine has attached themselves to this energy to show that this person is chosen. They may be on a path to remove what no longer serves them so that they can invite better in, but they may not have been, doing it in the time frame the universe wanted. And so this alignment kind of thrusted them into removing this terrible relationship. Okay, now if this happened in January, or the seeds were sown in January, or whatever the case is, just know that it's surfacing now. It's currently it's surfacing now, something about foreplay and bike riding. But if you watch any of my other readings, when we talk about sex in any regard, and we see like athletic cards, it's just talking about different styles of engaging in that kind of physical foreplay. Okay, now I'm getting something about a skunk, fantasy or dreams is slumped. So this is gross, but I guess like it's a smelly situation, I guess, with all this foreplay and intercourse. And it's honestly like, if you look at it, or if other people are kind of peering into the storyline of it, it seems like a fantasy. It seems like, I don't know, I've never really watched Sex and the City, but based on the title, maybe Sex and the City or any other show or movie where sex was like the pivotal point of the show, and like Fantasy Island or something like that, and it left one or multiple parties slumped. Okay, so if this amazing sexual experience happened in January, just know that now in about June, there's some kind of unfulfilled journey with this bike riding. Okay, someone has started quiet quitting, and I guess this is because all that wonderful foreplay and sex has brought on a new addition to the family. Congratulations. And this is something about with a Pisces in reverse. So maybe this person has Pisces highly aspected in their chart. Pisces, I'm not really gauging it's the sun sign, but I'm sensing more that like water birth is what I'm getting, like a purification process, kind of like a baptism I'm getting with this Pisces in reverse card. Okay, so it's kind of like a new start, a new beginning that you're receiving training for, training for, because of whatever untrustworthiness that you had with the peers you initially thought was your soul family. Okay, now this unfulfilled journey is going to leave one or multiple parties financially free. Okay, it's like a money tree having this child or children, because I don't really have like infants. I mean, I think the card said that, but yeah, fantasy dreams slumped with bike riding. Okay, and this Aquarius, who is basic, is using an Aries like a pig to kind of buff up their personal power with like controlling people in the matrix. So let's say this Aquarius is a parent, maybe the Aries is a pet or a child, because we said infant, and they're using this child or infant to lure people, to manipulate people, to control people, to take things from people. Maybe they're using this ball of innocence, quote unquote, as a negative mean, right? So ladybug is usually about luck in relationships, luck in networking, and keeping something clean, right? So this infant that's going to be born is going to be a genius, or is genius that someone had an infant so that they can utilize it in this way. I'm telling you, like, but just know that the infant's a non-threat. Oh, this Pisces energy is a non-threat. Okay, so when I'm gauging now, there were two different storylines. One's positive, of course, congratulations, and the other one is a bit more negative. Still congratulations, because I mean you brought a human into the world, but you're using them for negative means, so you kind of have to stop that. And that started in January. That started heavily in January with this manipulation and control. Okay, and the manipulation and control is to kind of weasel their way into a chosen spot. And that has nothing to do with the jury of your peers. Has everything to do with your spiritual life, your connection with the divine, your connection with God. Okay, so this energy is being called to move more in a Virgo light. Maybe there's a Virgo attached to this reading that's kind of speaking sense into this energy. But to move more in a Virgo, which is kind of like nitpicky, all about efficiency, all about perfectionism, but doing the work yourself. It's not really about a team collaboration. It's really about personal collaboration. It's really about personal alignment, right? So does your mind connect with your heart? Does it connect with your sacral, right? Why do we say that? Well, your mind is how you get in information. Your heart is how you can sift the information. Does this apply to me? Does this not apply to me? Because the level of importance is whether or not it applies to me. Okay, so you put all the stuff that applies to you in that little group, right? That's your heart chakra. Now you go down to your sacral chakra, and that is all about creation, right? Now you are putting this into focus in a way that other people can see it. It's not just you seeing it. It's not just your idea in your mind. It's not just what you have at home. It's more so something that can be more widespread, so that the crown chakra can offer other people the upgrades, the education that you learned in your experience. Okay, because that's how we help the collective. Okay, and there's still stuff about this four-player sex that it's just really on the mind. Maybe someone is not good at it, and so they're in some kind of training session, or maybe this person is out here, you know, doing all this foreplay, acting like they are perfectionists, but in reality, they're just out here for, you know, sexual pleasure. They are not very loyal. They don't know kind of like the right place to be at the right time. They don't really like, they have no connection to the divine, so they can't move in flow, right? And moving in flow is being at the right place at the right time, because, you know, your steps are ordered, but you have to know your steps are ordered. You have to be in frequency with the self that has ordered the steps. It's so much, but it starts with a spiritual connection. And unfortunately, there's someone in this energy that doesn't have a spiritual connection, and we can see that by all the four-player sex, right? They're probably a pedophile, molester, bigot, or racist. And at the end of the day, this is real news. Like, this person may be white, or they may come off like waving a white flag, like they're not a threat. We saw a non-threat come out. You know, they appear like they're not a threat, but they are a threat. Like, it's a comedy show. They're just lustful. They're lustful, have that wandering eye syndrome, and it's like, and they're spineless. They're spineless with this wandering eye syndrome. That's probably why they have, you know, to think about an infant born soon. Okay, but there's new ideas and ventures, and someone was stargazing. Them stargazing left them having to cry for help and deal with the hard fall. Something near a monument or a statue. Something near bushes or flowers. So I'm getting like out in the open, near a greenery, near a park, near a swimming pool that probably has a park, right? But just know that the swimming pool, quote unquote, if we're talking about physical water, has sharks. So the people that are at this pool, the people that are at, you know, this this gathering or whatever, they have one set goal in mind, and it is to feed. It is to feed on the weakest energies that are there. So when the shark smells blood is when you should be afraid. That, in a sense, is the weakest energy, and a vulnerable energy that can't, you know, protect the blood from rushing from his body. That's what these sharks are kind of symbolizing here. So all these peers you have, the jury of your peers, are really sharks. The music messages will let you know whenever you're in a certain environment and you hear a song play, that song is telling you about the person that you're with or the environment, what else is happening in that environment, okay? And just know that at the end of the day, you'll be walking into a trap. Whether they really polished it well, whether you feel like you're supposed to be there. Maybe you feel like you're supposed to be there the entire time. Take a half a day. Maybe you feel like, you know, you don't want to go. Don't go, because you are walking into a trap. Okay? Skunks are lone wolves, and normally they deter people with their stench. Now, their stench can symbolically be like an attitude. Right? So if you're walking into a trap and people are really trying to, you know, get you to be at a place at a certain time, well, maybe give a bit more attitude, give a bit more sass in the way that you do stuff, and it will kind of push these energies off so that you can see what's really going on. Okay? And that's, again, see what's going on. You don't have a bird's eye view right now. You're not a hawk in the sky being able to see what's going on. In essence, this visual has been removed from you. You can't see the energies that are sharking you. You know, the people that want to see you fail are throwing so much energy at you that it's causing maybe mental confusion. It's causing energetic confusion. So whether you feel like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, maybe it's because people are trying to infiltrate your dreams and you couldn't get a good night's rest because there's energies attempting to attack your spirit. Okay? And because of all of this, you never know how skilled people are. They can kind of blind you from what's happening around you. Okay? Blind you from your ability to create, your ability to duplicate, multiply, right? Not copy, but to be your own blueprint and replicate it. Okay? It's taking away your boldness. It's adding luck, right? There's many blessings and miracles that are unfolding for you because you're kind of in this gray area. But you're also having to deal with the sickliness, right? That's attached to not knowing. What does that mean? Well, when you're confused, oftentimes you have a headache, right? When you don't know where to go, oftentimes there's a feeling associated, and that feeling may not be positive, and so it makes you feel down, and feeling down could feel like pain or feel like sorrow in a way that's similar to depression, right? And across the board, being excessively sad can cause pain. So in this, you're getting a lot of luck, but it's not without you having to go through the motions, okay? They're taking away your memory, your ability. They're MK altering you, your ability to remember certain details, your ability to think on your feet, to offer banter, or to, again, even be at the right place at the right time. They're attacking this. They see that you're naturally so good at it. You're naturally in flow with the divine. The only way that they can trap you is if they remove your guiding light. Okay? So it's a spineless endeavor. It's spineless, but just know that, you can wave your white flag because this is a divine fated occurrence. Either they want you to be killed or they want you to die, but that's going to be reversed and sent right back to them, and you're going to have a front row seat. Now, not to say that the front row seat is at the funeral. I'm gauging more like you're going to be able to see this person have this death, whether it's literal, and my deepest condolences, or it's theoretical, like they're going to have a death and rebirth process. Okay? Why? Because you're the blueprint. And the divine already knows that you're the blueprint. I already said that earlier, but you define what happens around you. Okay? And how much it can spread because of your connection to the divine. Okay? I would say don't worry. Don't worry about a thing. Oh. If you want to talk about energies, this Taurus is the blueprint. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. Or you need to tap into your Taurus energy of being the Hierophant, the Hermit, the physical manufacturer of this 3D matrix, okay? So that's basically what the Taurus sign is all about. It's all about like groundings, about Mother Nature. It's representative of Gaia, of Earth, okay? And in order for us to do anything on Earth, we have to manipulate the resources Earth has given us, okay? So like a Taurus, you have to use the resources around you to make your ideals, your perceptions, your goals, your objectives, whatever, a reality for you, okay? That means stop stashing stuff for later and pay attention to where you're putting your energy and how much energy you're putting into it, okay? It's cute to feel like every day you know what to do and how to do it, but it's even cuter to make sure that your everyday has some kind of benefit, and that benefit is measurable from the moment you do it until forever. Okay, with a squirrel, a lot of their efforts are nil. They don't go anywhere. They don't help anyone. Okay, exercise is necessary. A musician. So maybe there's someone who. Oh, okay. So musician, exercise is necessary. These are avenues, outlets of how you can tap into your creative abilities. Okay, so if you're a musician, take out your instrument and play a few notes and just see where it takes you. Let's say you are an enthusiast of the physical arts, okay? So you enjoy karate, you enjoy different kind of sports that involve running, like track and football and soccer and the stuff with equipment, like softball and tennis and volleyball, golf. Like maybe you just like to weight train, whatever it is like you have to put in the physical work to create. Okay, to shift either your person, your mindset, the environment around you. You have to do the physical work, and it doesn't take a lot. It just takes you being purposeful, understanding symbolism, and making sure that your efforts align with the symbolic representation of it, okay? In a sense, don't be a hippo, okay? Be more like a Gemini. A hippo is like, you know, we're just going to sit in our own shit, excuse my language, but sit in our own shit, and that is fine. Whereas a Gemini is more like, okay, well, let's sift. All right, what is good, what is bad? Because at no point in time when you are sifting through something are you really sitting with all of the issues or all of the things you're sifting. You know, at one point in time, nothing's going to be there because you put everything into a pile. Okay, so kind of be more like a Gemini. Be more in your Gemini energy. Okay, ants usually symbolize stress, anxiety, and if you have any, because of this reading or because of what you're going through, just know that divine has your back. That anxiety is to push you in a certain direction. Realize if you feel too comfortable, it's not the move for you. It's not the place to be. Okay, focus more on this infant born in a couple months. All right, this Pisces that is focusing on health and luck, they need to live now, because their antagonizing, passive aggressive threats are threats mixed with cocktails is only going to lead to more stress and anxiety, and that's where the ant card is important. Okay, so be more like a skunk. Speak up for yourself and don't let anyone kind of like take away from your vibe. Okay, so kind of be like a burnt orange. Be very confirmation. Be very bold and upfront, kind of strict with yourself and how you engage with others, how you even speak on yourself. Like, straighten your back up a little bit, get your backbone type of thing. Okay, yep, because this infant born in new months, maybe during Aries season or whatever the case is, or infants born in a few months, just know that they're going to be super skillful. And although this endeavor that you were on may seem a bit new because of all the other energies around you kind of attacking you while you're going through this, just know that it's all part of a divine plan. And while you are stressing, they're stressing too in their own different way, in their own lessons that are supposed to propel them too. Okay, because maybe in their story they're the main character and you're doing something on your end that is causing them to have their level up experience. Okay, so I say don't be too upset with the back or body aches. If you're already pregnant and you have it because of that, I mean, exercise is necessary. I'm being told that incorporating aerobics or water exercises would help with circulation and assist with any aches or pain. But you don't have to be pregnant for that. I mean, like, if you just are exercising, you weight training and stuff like that, and you just need that a bit of assistance here. Okay, so I'm gonna close the reading because we have released karma. With us sorting out all the cards, we have transmuted this energy so that they don't have to go through it alone. This is part of the divine fated occurrence for us to help them and assist them. And just like that, the karma is released. We have some flies buzzing with the information, letting people know kind of what they overheard or what they know or what they can sense, but it's all going to work for your highest good. Okay, so I wish us all the best. I'll see you soon. Until the next.